Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. We're playing e4 as per usual. Our opponent responds with e5, so of course we're going to go for knight f3 here, putting pressure on that pawn, and then d4, the scotch. Oh hell yeah, what a great day to play some chess. Of course we take, and they play bishop c5, so we can play bishop e3, the classical variation of the scotch. They don't go queen f6. Those of you familiar with the channel will know that I am extremely happy to see queen f6, which is in fact the best, most popular, and main move in this classical variation, to which I then play the Blumenfeld scotch with knight b5. However, bishop b6 elicits the very interesting knight f5. I'm quite deeply prepared in the scotch, so I actually have seen this. They back up and then they take. Wow. Now, knight f5, we're kind of putting pressure on here, threatening to take with check, but they take straight away. I mean, normally that's remedied with queen f6 and then maybe knight c3, but given that they've taken straight away, I think we back up with the knight to e3, and then basically after knight c3 have a super dominant control of the d5 square, maybe even bishop c4, and we just control that with basically every piece in the position. Okay, we'll take back with the knight. I think this makes complete sense. If like queen here, we can go knight c3, although my opponent does seem relatively queen f6 averse. Okay, they play d6. 1 second, I need some protein shake, because if I ever spend 1 second in a state of catabolism, I will lose my muscle mass. Okay, so they develop the knight. I mean, we've developed our knight, pretty simple stuff. Obviously, they are likely to castle kingside, although not necessarily. If they do, of course, what we want to create is an opposite side castling position. So I think, honestly, queen to d2, just opening up that possibility of castling queenside in response to them castling kingside will allow me to use my f, g, and h pawn as effectively as possible to throw them at my opponent and open up that king, and then, you know, really get at them with some pieces. Maybe the knight will come back over to f5. In fact, there's often a really nice idea if you can manage if you can manage to create this structure with f3 and g4. If you can get a knight on f5, then oh my word, you are laughing, because if they take, pawn takes, you got a rook on an open g file. I mean, life is just good. So we are going to play g4. As you can see, they're going for the same kind of idea in an opposite side castling position. The victor is almost always the person who kind of wins the pawn race, the pawn storm, or has a more effective pawn storm, I should say, towards their opponent's king. And this is kind of one of the main tenets of attacking chess. So, you know, hopefully this game really gives it a nice quintessential example of how you can basically make every game you want an attacking game of chess. Just castle the opposite way. Okay, bishop here is interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily know what it achieves. Maybe you're trying to support this so you can push and push. That makes no sense. You can just push this straight away. Maybe you're trying to get your rook here, or you just want to get a step close to connecting the rooks. Okay, we can play g5 straight away. However, if we do so, and this is definitely something we want to achieve, you know, getting one step close to this king, using the knight for tempo. However, a more nuanced approach to this would be actually g5 allows knight h5, and then how am I really going to force that knight out of there to push past with my h-pawn? Now, maybe I can. Maybe g5, knight h5, or f4, for instance? No, because they can just take. So, you know, at least it's not immediately simple, and that knight kind of just is annoying on h5, I think. So I'm going to start with h4, then play h5, such that my rook, of course, defends that square then, not hidden behind the pawn. And then after I've achieved that, I'll then go for g5. The knight won't have h5 to go to. It will either have to regress to a square like e8, or maybe if they move the bishop in the coming moves, they could go to d7, for instance. Okay, they do go for b4. We were completely prepared for this, or were we? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we've got a sort of, I hope you can see the sort of symmetrically, or the rotationally symmetrically opposite scenario that's going on here. You know, we're talking about g5, they're thinking about b4, with an out on f6, with an out on c3. It's a very similar game plan that both my and my opponent are playing here. I think we kind of have to just whack the pony on d5, and I don't hate it. Although, actually, maybe they've cashed in on their tempo, and now they're gonna remove this knight, so I'll never get g5 with tempo. Although, let's not forget about knight f5 as a potential idea. Okay, so what do I take with is actually a really interesting question. I have 3 options here. Now, queen takes, there's probably just bishop e6. I have to move my queen. Maybe they can't take straight away because there might be b3 trapping stuff, but then actually there might be a5 and a4 and everything gets torn open, and I don't want to do that to myself. I do not want to do that to myself. So of course, knight or pawn takes are the remaining options. If knight takes, which seems like the most intuitive option, you know, outpost the piece in the center. Not technically an outpost though, because it's not a hole. This d5 square, i.e. there is a pawn that can remove our knight from there, which is why I'm not just immediately doing this, because I actually think it could be a great idea to take with the d pawn, not allow a move like bishop e6, maybe slow the progress of the c-pawn, but also, and maybe most importantly, open up a really nice channel for our light square bishop to do some attacking onto this h7 square. Because right now, our pawn structure does not really complement our bishop. But if we take and do this, things could be looking extremely pleasant. And again, if you go here and then play bishop e6, I mean, I could take a pawn, I guess, but I'm just opening stuff up. I'm going to take with the pawn. It might have been more accurate to take with the knight. I'm not necessarily claiming this is the best move. I think practically speaking, it gives us some nice stuff, i.e. it keeps this bishop, you know, it removes the obvious square for this bishop, their light square bishop, and creates an obvious square for my light square bishop. So, you know, in the, oh, they've moved their pawn. Yeah, in the battle of the light squared bishops, recapturing the pawn here definitely improves mine and worsens theirs, I think. You know, definitely, and I think probably shouldn't be used in the same sentence. Although now we can just play f4. You cannot come in anywhere with your knight. Our knight holds g4, so it doesn't matter that the bishop attacks it. We hold this square as well. I mean, just give me that. Just absolutely give me that. And look at our pawns rolling forward. They go back, of course. We now get another tempo, which is super useful, although it might be best to not hang my f-pawn. Just as an idea. We could push the f-pawn. Again, that is just killing this bishop. But we push the f-pawn, the knight comes back here, and then there's a certain finality to the knight's presence on e5 there, because this would then be a hole in the sense that we wouldn't ever be able to kick that knight with a pawn. So it's not immediately obvious I should play f5. We could just play a freaky like knight f5. Because if you take, I take, the knight's hit, the g file's open. I guess you could take this, but then my h file's open. And the reason that I kind of would consider knight f5 is because my queen then defends the f pawn. Oh, okay. This is a big decision, I think, although my time is running a little low. f5 here. I could just play g5. You know what? It's got to be f5. It's got to be f5. I think knight f5 would also have been very interesting. Now, they can take this, although maybe you get your knight trapped and maybe you open... Well, you definitely open the h-file. Let's get some more protein in me. Jesus Christ, it's been too long. Let me let you in on a little secret for building muscle, guys. If you don't have an intake of protein at every 3-minute interval during the day, I mean, say goodbye to your pecs. They atrophy away instantly. You've missed your protein window. Okay, so opponent has a couple choices here. I don't really see why they'd ever do this, ever, because you just kind of kill your knight. And if you're trying to bounce back towards the center, just go here. They do take the pawn. Wow, that just seems wrong. That just seems wrong to give me an open h-file. It seems greedy. Also, where the hell is your knight going? You know what I mean? Oh, okay. I mean, is it as simple as just lift this and stack? I don't really see why I wouldn't. Maybe I'll go to h3. Just in case the queen wants to come across and we can get Alekhine's gun on the h-file. I mean, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Rook h3. Because, I mean, in taking that, I think that was a big mistake from my opponent. I'm not entirely... g5. What the? g5. Insane. Insane move. Okay. So, we can take en passant. Fine. You then will take backwards with the knight, presumably. I mean, I could just go across. We also could maybe just sack this. Or do something like this. Hang my knight. Take with check. King goes here. Take with check. Here. Oh no, whoa. G5 does not hang. Might edit that out. Probably won't. My time is absolutely of the essence. Right. Let's crack stuff open. Because why the hell not? Now, you don't have to take back with the knight. You could take with one of the pawns. And in fact, that might be a better idea. Because then the h-file isn't so obviously abusable. And if you take back with one of the pawns, and then I stack, you could just play g5 again. But, you know, knight f5, bishop d3. No way. Okay, let's stack because, I mean, it's unbelievably intuitive to stack here. Then what? If I go here and you take, check here, check, there's this. Right, I think I need my queen on here, on this diagonal. Maybe knight f5. Queen here, this goes to like f6 maybe. Okay, I need my queen on this diagonal. Oh my word. Right, I am definitely winning. I have a minute though. Why do I always do this? What the hell? What the hell is going on? Here, move. Oh, I probably just hung a bishop, probably just hung all sorts, probably just... Okay, obviously they can't take straight away, but if they take this first... I think I'm in a lot of trouble. Maybe not. Maybe the h-file is all I need. Maybe the h-file, a queen and a rook, is all I flippin' need. I've handled this with all the care and attention that you would handle the ashes of your mortal enemy. Okay, interesting analogy. Wait, hold on. You have to take that rook. Queen takes. What is your move? Because there's h7 and h8 and they're both mate threats. And what do you do? Takes, queen e3, king b1. No checks. Oh my flipping h-file. All you need to attack in the game of chess is to castle opposite and play h4. No, come on. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, it's just that easy. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Protein. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. Now, that looks, you know, we were winning the whole time. This is a good story of an opening, played well, garnered a middle game advantage, maybe let it slip away a bit. They messed up, and then I think around this point I got into time trouble. They played g5 and queen d4 just wasn't the right idea. Maybe I should have gone knight f5, but then we built it back and absolutely crushed. I'll take 87% accuracy. The blunder here was clearly more of a missed win than a blunder. But oh my word, what a game. Okay, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e d4, knight d4, bishop c5, bishop e3. This is the Scotch game, classical variation, as you can see. And the top move in the Masters database, at least, is queen to f6. Bishop b6 is the second move in the Masters database. That's why I have some knowledge of what to do here. Because actually, if we turn on the engine, when I turn on the engine, I'm probably going to cut because I think the footage will start lagging when I turn on the engine. But the best move is, in fact, to play knight to f5 here. And there's a continuation that I often get with queen here, like this, and then maybe here we trade, and then go back on e3, I think, something like this. But instead, they take the bishop straight away, which is okay, but after knight recaptures, although, should we have played... Okay, yeah, this has happened in 20 master games. Look at this. 20 master games with just straight W's as of recently. Interesting stuff. And in every master game, they, of course, recaptured backwards with the knight. Okay, it's a very interesting position. d6, knight f6 would have been probably more accurate. And then bishop c4 would have been the move to follow the master game that remains in the tree here. But oh my word, I've just checked the engine, and queen d2 was actually the best move. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's come out of the database now. They castle, we castle, f3, g4, bishop here, let's just stabilize the pawn. You know, a little bit of patience, never hurt anyone. h4, move the knight to the center. Take with the pawn, which probably, okay, this was an interesting decision. So the engine does prefer taking with the knight a little bit. I kind of suspected it might, because if they go bishop e6, for instance, then we could just pick this up. However, I don't really love giving them... They couldn't necessarily play this straight away because it weakens this, but I don't love giving them the open file, maybe crashing in through here, you know, the knight swinging over, the c5, the queen coming in. I feel like it gives black a very obvious avenue of attack. I take here, and I just feel like practically at least, you see, you know, they go a5 trying to continue their attack. f4, move your knight. f5, not ideal. We should have played rook f1, which I guess would have just held the pawn. Oh, and then just preparing h5, I guess. Not allowing the knight back into e5. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Don't know why I didn't do that. Would have been pretty aesthetic stuff. However, we got kind of lucky because in response to our inaccuracy, they didn't just repost the knight in the center, to which I was going to play g5. And in response to g5, they could have played f6, although you do see things getting a little bit sketchy over here for our opponent. However, it was not a very good idea to play f5 and let the knight back in. I don't think I was quite sure about it in the game, but taking, we went rook h3, we could have played g5. What the hell? Because if queen takes, do we play rook g1? Oh my, rook g1. Oh, and there's going to be like f6. Oh, wait, no, not even that. If they go back with the queen, we go here, hit the pony, and it's just trapped. Wait, but if you take here, it's not trapped. But you must be getting cooked. Oh my word, there's bishop d3. Okay, hopefully you can see that this is a winning position. Hopefully you can see that, because that is pretty beautiful. g5 would have been very interesting, but rook h3 is still a good move. g5 here, and actually somehow the evaluation is roughly even for my opponent. They take with the wrong pawn. There's no way that was the point where the game went wrong. They needed the activity of the rook, apparently, maybe to come in with like rook f2 or something. Or maybe just to not allow my rook such diabolical access to h8 and h7. We go across, they come in here, and this is a mistake because they have rook here. But instead, they played queen across. What the hell? What on earth? So, rook coming across, the best response would have been bishop d3, then they play queen e7? But when they play queen e7 straight away, I found the best move. with 30 seconds to go, hanging a bishop, because after takes. Give me that. Give me that. Oh my god, the engine has just shown me something absolutely disgusting, guys. Rook takes goes to mate in 7. Do you know why? Because queen takes is more accurate. That's... Oh, I can't believe I missed that opportunity. And if you take rook g1, just disgusting stuff. Ladder mating on the side of the board. Okay, we instead sack the rook, still extremely efficient. Oh, by the way, if you sack the queen here, and try and take like this, you're just dead lost, because they can very easily run, which is extremely upsetting. But we could have sacked the queen, we instead sacked the rook. Things were still beautiful. And then, of course, check here, check here, check here, check here. It was mating. Oh my god. Sorry, when I said oh my god, what I meant was, obviously we don't go for mate in 1, mate in 2, over mate in 1, every single time. What a game that was. Thanks so much for watching this beautiful example of an H-file exploited to the maximum possible efficacy. When I get big time and start making merchandise, of course we're going to have an open H-file bit of merch. Oh my word, oh my word, oh my word, it's been too long since I've had this protein, jeez. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I know there are a lot of you that enjoy this particular style of video, and hopefully this was a beautiful one to improve your day. Let me know if you did enjoy in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.